Hello guys, welcome to today's video. In today's video we're going to get introduced to the design software called Figma. This software is widely known for its collaborative feature, as in we can collaborate with a friend to work on the same design, and also you are able to have access to your design anywhere so long as you have access to the internet. Okay, so when I start designing from here and there's light out, I can go to a friend's house, go to www.figma.com, log in, and then continue my work from there. All right, without losing any of my files. Okay, so the Figma is mostly used for mobile interfaces and interface for web designs, web development. Okay, that is the major what we is mainly used for. But now we can also use it for graphic design, designing of flyers, like I did for this particular program. Let's zoom in. So you realize that I have a lot of the works here. Okay, I designed these flyers from here, directly from here. So this some of the things that we can use it for. Aside the mobile interfaces, web interface, we can also use it for flyer designs. Okay, and some of the let's count. This is one of the software interface I was talking about, the web interface. This is web interface, and then we also have the mobile interfaces. Let me open one for you. So that's the major purpose of the Figma, for mobile interface and website interface. So for today I'm going to take you through how it works. All right, how it works, just introduction to the interface, and then work. So this is example of the mobile interface. Okay, so aside that, we can prototype. So when you click on this play button, we can view the you can view it in action. So you click how it's working. Okay, how it's working. This is exactly how it works. You see it moves. So it's also for prototyping. So most of the presentation that we did earlier on in this particular program was made in Figma, like this one. It was made in Figma. Most of the presentation were made in Figma. So in today's lesson, I'm going to just introduce you to how the interface looks. So when you open up Figma, you're going to be introduced to this particular interface, and this interface, we have all your designs over here, the ones that you were working on earlier or your already existing projects. And then on your at the top, you can start a new design file, a new Figma board. So the Figma board is like a whiteboard where you can use for planning, and the Kanban board, something similar to that. And we also have the new slide deck for presentation, and then you can import .fig files. Okay, you can see your Figma file as .fig for local storage. And then we have on your on your left side, we have your account that you are using, and then we have draft projects. So most of, as a beginner or as a free account, most of the works that you are going to be doing are going to be drafts. Okay, they are going to be drafts. So when you click on new design file, it should come up like untitled. All right, it should come as untitled. But when you look at the top left corner, it's written draft. Okay, so with a draft like this, no one can view it, it's only you. That is the draft. So it's like how you send SMS. The SMS is not sent, but it's saved as when the SMS is not sent, it's saved as what? Draft. So that's how this one works. So we have drafts. So when you open a new file like this, on your far left, we have the name of the project you're working on. So you can rename it, and let's call it intro. And we have files and we have assets. Okay, now the assets are like icons um, some of the things, the components that you've saved, okay, that you'll be using over and over again. So when you come to the all libraries, there are some of the components that you'll be using frequently, so they have been saved in here, so that anytime you want to use it, you just click and drag it to your workspace and then you are using it. Okay, so like if I was creating an interface for mobile app, I will just bring in this into the mobile app and then I'm good to go. So that's for the assets. Now the files, we have pages and we have layers. So you pay attention with the pages. I can have this page and I can with this page, the page works like the normal pages you have in a book. And then we have the layers. The layers works exactly as the one in Photoshop. Okay, so in Photoshop, when you open and create a new element, bring in any picture, you realize that Photoshop keeps a list of all the elements that are bringing in. Okay, so those lists that Photoshop call layers is the same thing that we have here, the layers here. So let's start something basic. So when you're getting started, the first thing you need to take is a frame. Okay, so we work in frames. So you are coming to the bottom here, you see your move to, right beside your move to, we have your frame. Click on the frame, then you have the right side, this right side, you see we have this thing here. So if you want to create for mobile, if you want to create for tablet view or for desktop view, okay, so I'm going to pick the desktop view, just click and then we have the frame selected for you. So on your right side are the properties of the selected element, or the selected element. So this frame like this, when I select this frame, I have the properties of this frame. Okay, the position, the layouts, the appearance, the fill color. Okay, that's the properties of this particular frame. Okay, now inside these frames, you see these layers. On our layer side, desktop has been added to the layers. Okay, so anytime you add something, it's going to definitely be added to the layers. I hope you get me. So let's create something simple. So right beside the frame tool is the rectangle tool. So on the rectangle tool, right beside it, you can see an arrow. When you click on it, we have rectangle, line, arrow, ellipse, polygon, star, and you can import an image from here. So when I click on this, I can click and drag inside this frame to draw a rectangle. Okay, to draw a rectangle like this. Now when you draw a rectangle, you realize that the properties on the far right also changes. Okay, so we have the alignment. This alignment will align the rectangle with respect to the frame that is that it has been put inside. Okay, so this rectangle here is inside this desktop frame. So when I select this rectangle and then I center it like this, it comes to the center of the particular frame, and click on it, it comes to the center of the particular frame. All right, so when we continue, let's continue from here. I can bring in another shape. This is a pen tool. The pen tool is also used for shapes, drawing shapes. So I can bring in draw, click, click, click. I have, sorry, click, 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 and then I'm done with creating the shape. So what you can see, I can pick my move tool. I come to the property side and click on the fill, the name fill, then it fills it. All right, and then you can delete the stroke. The stroke is the line, the black line around it. That's the line around it. You can delete it by clicking on this minus here, or you can turn it off or hide it using this eye view here. So I want to take it away, so I'll take it away like this. Now looking at the bottom here, you realize that this shape is not inside the frame. Okay, so what you can do to bring this shape inside the frame is you click the part of the shape that is outside the frame, like this part. Click it, click on it and drag it inside the frame. Automatically the shape will be will come inside the frame. All right, and then you check the far right side, the properties. We should have something like corner radius here, so I can adjust the corner radius of this, just dragging. I don't know whether you saw it. I just click and drag. You see the icon here, you click on it and drag it to the right side, and then it will keep increasing. All right, so that is how the radius works. So with this side, you realize that this rectangle has white at the corners. So with this corner, we can click and drag to just round it. Okay, you can click and drag to round it up. Now what you are going to do is we are getting introduced to the type 2. This is T, so it's very simple too. So you can just type, click once, then you type. All right, you can just click once and then you start typing. So I can bring in this here. All right, and then you realize that the properties on the far right also what changes. Okay, whereas the properties on the far right also changes. So we can change the font type, we can change the font style to something bold, and then we can reduce the spacing in between the letters. All right, we can reduce it. I mostly use -3, and then this is also mostly I use type auto. Then we can also click and drag while holding Alt to duplicate. All right, so like the way we did in Photoshop, hold Alt, click and drag. If you want it to remain in the same line as this, you hold what, Shift, and then it will keep remain in the same line. So I'll repeat that again. Holding Alt, click and drag, and hold Shift to keep it in line with the one you are duplicating from. All right, so it will be in line like this. Good. So what we are going to do is we can double click on this and then change the word to maybe home. Right, now we can change the font style to maybe regular and change the size to something around 24. Okay, now with the same procedure, holding Alt, click and drag, hold Shift to keep it in line. Okay, double click on it and you can type to replace this. All right, so it's the same process. Holding Alt, click and drag, hold Shift to keep it in line, and then you type maybe about us. Click Alt, holding Alt, click and drag, hold Shift to keep it in line, and then we have contact us. All right, so you are creating the interface of a website. Okay, this is what you are doing. Now I want to introduce you to something we call layout over here. Auto layout, sorry, something called auto layout. So what the auto layout does is that it's going to keep all your, in quote, the element you've added as part of the frame. So I can click on this, click on this, click on this, click on this, and frame them. So first of all, I'm going to frame them. So what I'll do is right click on one of them, and then you see frame selection. Click on frame selection. All this for having framed. Now what the auto layout does is that it's going to adjust the gap in between all of them to make it equal. So when you come to layouts on your far right layout, you see this thing here, use auto layout. You see that when you hover over these icons, it says use auto layout. So you click on it, then the auto layout. So when I click and drag this, you see that the spacing between these changes. Okay, so I can change it to something around 40 or let's say 36. Okay, I mostly use multiples of 4. That is my preference, so you can use anything. So with this one, no matter what, even you cannot, if you shift this one out, you see that the spacing is still the same, right? there's nothing wrong with that. There will be nothing wrong with your design. It helps in precision, okay, and accuracy. So we can also bring in another type, maybe over here, that says get started. Right, so it is get started. Now one thing about this is you'll be tempted to maybe click and drag the edges to make it bigger, but when you do that, the text doesn't become bigger, the font will never become bigger. Okay, so what you can do to make this bigger is you click on this arrow down here near on the move tool, come to the move tool, click on this, you see scale. When you click on the scale, then you can click and drag to make it bigger. All right, you can click and drag to make it big. Now you can click on this one and go to the normal move tool, and then what I want to teach you right now is how to create a button over here. How to create a button. So to create a button, what you're going to do is you have to frame this particular text, the text that I want to use as button. I have to frame it. So to frame it, right click and then frame selection. Remember, so after frame selection, you come and add auto layout again. Now the reason why we are adding the auto layout is because so that in future, if you are changing the content of the button, the size of the button will adjust together. Okay, so now we have padding. The padding is the space between the text and then the borders of the button. So when I increase the padding, you realize that you see this is the left and right padding. Now the left and right increases. When I increase the top and bottom, realize that the top and bottom also does what? Increases. Now we can add color to this. You can see the frame, but you cannot see the color of the frame. What you can do is you add fill. Okay, click on the word fill. When you as you've selected the frame, click on the word fill, and then you change the color. All right, so you can change the color. Let's pick something close to this. Okay, so we have something like this as our button. So we can also adjust the corner radius of this particular button. We click on this and type 10. All right, or let's take it to 12. It's a multiple of 4. So we've been able to create this button, and you can change the color of this button anytime. All right, you can change the color anytime you wish to. And then if you want to change the color of the text, you hold Ctrl and then click on the text. The text will be selected. Now the fill color, you click on it and then select your white, and then you'll be able to get your fill color. Okay, so that is how you get this. Now with this rectangle here, what I'm going to show you is how to add an image. Okay, so I'm going to import image into this particular rectangle. So I'll select this rectangle, and then you see the fill. When you click on the fill color, and then you come to the top, you see we have 4 icons. We have solid, gradient, image, and video. So since we are using a free version, we cannot add a video, so we can add an image, right? That's where you see upload from computer. So right click on the upload from computer, and then you search for an image on your computer to upload over here. So let's search for one here. I should have an image to upload here. So let me use this image. Open. So when I use open, after a while the image will load. Okay, good. You see we have the image uploaded. Now over here we can also add another overlay on top of this image. So you see this button, when it comes to the fill, we can add plus, that's add fill. Click on it and realize that there's some dark that is on it. So click on the color of this thing. Now what we want to do is we just want to make some portion of it dark and some portion very clear, so that we can see what so that there will be high contrast when you put a text on it. So we click on this gradient. You see we have solid gradient, and then you get this option where you want to be black, more black, light black. You can also change the colors and then the opacity. Okay, so with the color here, I want it to be black, yes, and then this part to be less black. So this is what I want, but realize that the effect is not too much. It's because the opacity of this particular layer or this particular fill is very low. The opacity is there. It's like the transparency. Okay, so we can increase it like this. Okay, we can increase it like this. So I like multiples of 4, so we can take something like 76, and then we can bring in a type here. We can click and drag this one here to type here. So we can click on the fill color to change the color here. So maybe we type intro to Figma Interface, and then we change the alignment. Let's write it in full. Now this is very small for me, this is very small. So what I will do is I'm going to increase the size. Okay, what I can do to increase the size is I'll click key, and it automatically picks the scale tool. So remember the scale that we pick from the move side, we can click on it and then we have this. Okay, we can click and drag it, something like this. Okay, and in Figma we also have something called plugins. So these plugins help you in creating your work very fast. Okay, the plugins help you create your work very fast. So for example, if I should click on my type tool and then select this portion, okay, I'll select this portion and then I right click, so I can come to the top here and then you see plugins, right? So I have my save plugins, or you can manage your plugins, or you can search for new plugin. Okay, so let's manage plugins. Okay, so over here we can search for a plugin. So the plugin I want to search for is Content Reel. It helps you a lot. It helps generate dummy text, dummy images, anything, just to fill the content that you want. All right, so over here I've selected it and it's going to load. Next, start. So over here I just want some dummy text to fill this bottom here. All right, it should be a lorem ipsum. I can select it like this, and I'll select this part here, and then I'll just, you see that it's filled there. Let me repeat the whole process again. So I selected my type tool. I'm dealing with type here, so I'll just select a portion like this that I want to use, and then I'll click on the text. All right, or I can just click on apply. It's going to generate a random text for me to fill my interface. Okay, so after that I'll just click on this. So the type is very small for me, so I'm going to use 24. The size should be 24, and then the style should be regular. Good. So this is too much. Good. I just need some 3 lines of text. This is for design purpose. Okay. So this is what I have, and I can add one more button here and another button here. So the reason why we did auto layout, now you are going to see. So get started or sign in. So with a sign in, you see that the size of the button adjusts as we keep changing the text. Okay, did you see that? So this is the purpose of the auto layout. Now when you see this notification here, it means that you are not connected to the internet, and that means when your machine shuts down or the software closes, all your files or all your work will be lost. I mean the one that you've done recent, all your recent changes will be lost. Okay, so make sure that you are connected to the internet. So with this, I'm going to change the fill color to white, and then the text rather to blue. Then we have something like this. So, and then with the bottom here, we have these waves here. I can reduce the opacity of one here to 50 and reduce the opacity of this one to 50. So I have something like that. Yes. Now this is what I have. Now let's come back to the layer side. You realize that we have this frame called desktop. That is the frame that we worked within. So everything was grouped inside, everything was placed inside, so I can expand it to see all that is within, and I can close it. So when you expand, you realize that all that is within, you can find them here. So one thing that you should learn to do is, as a beginner, you should learn to name all your layers as you go. Yes, if you don't anytime you add one, you name it. You add two, you name it. If you wait till the end of the project, you are going to get a lot of layers and to be very tedious to rename all of them. Okay, so what you are going to do is you are going to rename all of them. So this is sign in, and then you come to this one, which is the get started. So the get started, we have two, so we can call this one primary, and we can call this one get started, and these are the waves, right? These are the waves. You can control J to group them and call them waves. Very good. And we also have this, we can call them links. So they are the links to other pages, these ones. And we also have our header, the logo type, and then we have our image over here. So that is what we have. So if you want to preview, click on the frame that you want to preview, and you see the play button over here. You click on it and it should be able to provide you a preview. The reason why I'm not getting the preview is because I'm disconnected from the internet. So let me connect back. So this project is going to be saved, and the moment it's saved, this dot will go. So let's come and then wait as it loads for the preview of what we just designed, the new website interface we just designed. So as you can see, this is the new website interface that we just designed. So we have our get started button, we have all other buttons here, we have this, we have that. So this is a basic intro to the Figma interface, how it works, and something you can use to create and the basic knowledge you can use to create something now. So the last thing we are going to learn over here is how to export this particular design in Figma. So When you come to the bottom, on your far right in the bottom, you see export. Click on export, and we have PNG. PNG means transparent background, and JPEG is a normal picture. SVG means you want to save it as an icon that can be scalable infinitely without losing quality. So scalable vector graphics. And then the PDF, you all know, is a normal document format. Okay, so we just pick the JPEG, which is JPG, and then export. You see 1x means we are maintaining the size of what we have created. If you take it to 2x will multiply the size of what you have created, and it's going to make the size bigger. 4x will make it much bigger. Okay, so you can preview before you export what you are coming to. If you don't click on the frame that you want to export, if you don't click on the right frame, you won't get what you want. So for example, I click on this button, I click on export, it will only export this button for me. So if I click on this rectangle image here, and then I click on export, I'm going to export this image only, and it's going to be used by the the developer. I'm going to export this image only. But if I want to export the whole thing, click on this and then click on export desktop 1, and then opens up here, save it. So now it has been saved in my downloads, so I can open it up here. So hello guys, this is the basic knowledge that you need in Figma at the beginning, and I would like to see you do something new, something wonderful. Share with us in the group. If you have any question, you can leave it in the comment section too.